Hello and welcome to
Session 6,
which is all about existing, our way that we live and how we live and how that can cause anxiety or stress. So our mere existence can cause stress. The top stressor in life can be mortality. And mortality will cover the mortality of ourselves and the mortality of those around us, people we care about. And how we feel about mortality will define how we are when someone passes away or when we think about our own futures and endings. Whether we have a faith or not, how do we actually console ourselves to the idea of mortality? Secondly, freedom is a very big one. It sounds very good to have freedom, and it is. We're very lucky to have freedom. However, the more freedom we have, the more decisions we have to make as to what we're going to do with that freedom, what we're going to do with ourselves and our time and our efforts. So it's the decision-making part of freedom that can cause stress or anxiety. As human beings, we need community and we need to belong. We need to feel a sense of belonging, which is why sometimes we have certain groups of friends, certain partners. We get on with certain people and not with others. We join groups. If we're religious, we might join the church, for example. So there are all sorts of ways in which we satisfy our need for belonging. And last but not least, we need meaning and purpose. So we need something to get us out of bed in the morning. We need something to work towards. Meaning and purpose. What is the purpose in your life? And what is the meaning of your life? So those are 4 main stressors of our existence. So let's have a look at them in a bit more detail. Now I just want to clarify a note here with you. Do not be put off by the harshness of these subjects. If we can understand and embrace the realities of life, we can become a more rounded, fulfilled person rather than someone who hides in fear of reality. I'm going to start off with what probably is seen as the toughest subject, mortality. So what do you feel about mortality? The mortality of yourself, the mortality of those close to you. Have you lost a loved one already, or a pet? Within loss, we can talk about loss of inanimate objects as well, but this mortality is about the living creatures around you that you really care about. We tend to make lots of plans for things. So we plan holidays, we plan work, we plan events, we plan seeing friends, family, all sorts of things. But how much planning have you done around mortality and death? For many, it is almost a taboo subject. No, we don't talk about that. That's too depressing. That's, I hear all the time reasons why people say they don't want to talk about mortality. But one of the biggest things is fear. It's actually fear of how they might feel if one of their loved ones passes, and also fear of their own death. When did you first find out about mortality? When did you first find out that those around you love will not be here forever? And how did that feel for you at that time? Because that is an important point in your life where something big happened. It was a huge realisation. I don't think many people realise that fact. Do you talk about mortality with your loved ones? Do you talk about how any plans that might be in place? Do you talk about what might happen for who's left behind? Are there funeral plans? Have you made a will? Do you know if those around you have made a will? Talking about mortality does not need to be glum. It doesn't have to be a serious, glum conversation. Have you asked your friends how they feel about mortality? People close to you, have you asked them? Work colleagues, what do you feel about mortality? It's not something that we generally tend to talk about, but if you don't already, it might be worth thinking about doing so yourself. Another thing that comes up a lot when someone passes away for my clients is that they will decide, well, okay, I've got to make sure I live my life, and it's a real push to make the most of life and those around me. But why aren't we doing this already? Have a look at these things. How much do you make of your own life right now? Do you exist? Do you live life to the full? Could you do more? Could you appreciate others more? We've covered these questions previously, but this topic of mortality certainly helps to put things into perspective a little bit more. So it's something to think about. And it can be very freeing if we can talk openly about mortality itself. How do you find decision making? Do you find it easy? Do you find it a drag? Do you find it a stressor? If you do find it a stressor, give yourself a break. It's okay, because we are having to make so many decisions all of the time. I don't think half the time we realise just how many we are making and how long for. So when we're young, maybe we're going to school, we have some sort of routine as to what we're doing. We're being told by our caregivers or parents what to do, when to do it, when to go to bed, who we can play with, etc. All of a sudden, we become a young adult. And at some time or another, when we leave academic life or our parental homes, caregivers' homes, we will need to make our own decisions, such as, what job am I going to do? What am I going to do next? Where am I going to live? Who am I going to be with? Now, we've already made some decisions when we're children, such as who to be friends with, for example. But the decisions get bigger and they get more and more. So then we've got even the smallest of ones, which are like who to bank with, which electricity company to go with, all things like that. The washing machine breaks down. I know I've used that example before in this program, but the washing machine breaks down. Who to call? Get the quotes, which one to choose, the decorating, what colour to paint the walls. Oh, there's decisions all of the time. Now, some of them are decisions that aren't so important, but some are very important. And the point is, as individuals, we need to see that even if something seems like a small thing to others and it's not to us, that's okay. If we have a hard time making a decision over something we feel is relatively small, that's okay. We can always ask for help. We can always ask for advice of others. But remember, a lot of the decision making as to what you're going to do with your life, how you're going to lead it, who you're going to lead it with, and where, those are big things. Now, having all of this freedom means that we have choices as well. And that's where the decision making comes in. But do we appreciate how much choice we have? Do we sometimes feel like, oh, the world's against us, everything's going wrong, for example, things like that? We can get stressed quite easily if we're not careful. So I'd like to look at a few things with me here so that we can look a little bit more in depth about what choices we have and what we can do with them. So we could change and refresh ourselves. We don't have to always react the same way. So we have a choice as in how we react to other people or to events in life or to ourselves. For example, we do not have to be a victim or prisoner of our past traumas. We can stop living in the past and choose to make our current and future life the best we can. We may have to have therapy in order to do that, or some other way of targeting trauma. However, the main thing is that we live the best life that we can. We do not have to never trust anyone because one person hurt us. Correct? We can forge new relationships. We can make new attachments with people that are based on trust. We do not have to think our whole life is rubbish because one aspect of it isn't so great. Now that's the kind of catastrophizing that comes with a low mood or anxiety. But we have a choice. We don't have to go down that road. Think about the thought, feeling, action diagram. We can choose to stay still in our negative thinking or choose to bring in more positivity. We can choose to attract positivity if we want to, and attract positive people and positive events. And lastly, we can choose to accept that just getting out of the door with our trainers on is better than not trying to go for a walk or run at all. It's right though, isn't it? It's all in the trying, and it's all in the small steps. And feeling better is usually done best by taking small steps, slowly but surely, so that the new information or new ways of being sticks. And these examples also show how we can have black and white thinking. It's all right or it's all wrong. It's all good or it's all bad. But we need to look at the grey area in the middle, the balanced area, where things can be just okay. They don't have to be all right or all wrong. The same as there doesn't always have to be someone to blame or not to blame. So I'll finish there because I shall go off target. But choice and freedom, think about those things with regards to yourself. Belonging. Do you belong somewhere? Do you feel a sense of belonging? Whether it be in a group, your family, your friends, work. Belonging will give us a sense of comfort. We tend to have better self-care. We look after ourselves better when we have a sense of belonging. And we're interested in others. Let's have a little look at a few places or groups that we could belong to. A knitting group, a college class, a music group, a group for readers or writers, a family, our family, a church, a group of friends from school, mental health group with similar or same diagnosis. It could be all sorts of places where we feel like we belong and that we're with like-minded people. Do you have a good sense of belonging in all areas of your life? All we need to do is make sure that where we feel that sense of belonging is in a good place, a positive place for us, not a negative place. But just feeling like we belong gives us a sense of community and it raises our spirits. If we do not have a sense of belonging, this could cause low mood, anxiety, and other issues. Maybe you could tweak how you view or how you actually do belong right now. Have a think about it. Millie has just jumped on my lap in case you can hear her purring. Thinking about loneliness. Do you ever feel lonely? Do you feel lonely now? Do you know anybody who does? Very often with loneliness we don't talk about it. But it's suffered by a vast amount of people in our populations, more than we imagine. And it can cause health problems, physically and mentally actually. People get lonely for many different reasons, such as a new mum who is at home with a new baby, housewives, starting a new job, moving home, living in an inner city area where it's difficult to meet new people. All sorts of reasons. So if you've ever felt lonely or you feel lonely right now, think about what that's all about and what you can do about it. Here are a few things that we can do. We can go to a new group, joining groups, musical groups, colleges, things like that. We can go on dating sites, the obvious one for relationships. We can join gym or exercise classes, running clubs, horse riding. We can enjoy pets. They're very fulfilling, as I can say so myself. We can join walking groups, art groups. We can even do volunteering to get new experiences and meet new people. So have a think about anything that you can add in your life that will make your life feel better and more content for you. Purpose and meaning in life. Both very important factors. And without them, we could feel low mood, anxiety, lonely, isolated. So we need to keep creating purpose. Very often purpose isn't actually handed to us on a plate. We have to find it ourselves, much as the freedom and decisions we have to make and the choices that we make. We have to create our own purpose and meaning. Now, sometimes people around us need us and the purpose is there to help them. For example, but which job we're going to do, all of those things, we have to create those things ourselves. It can be tough, right? Because we didn't ask to be born, so we're put on this planet, wherever we are, brought up by whoever they are, and off we go. We have to make all these decisions, choices, create purpose and meaning. But you can see how important these things are to have in your life, and to have things that you care about. So we have covered quite a lot there around our existence and the stresses around our mere existence. I hope you found those useful. Take care, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now.